The Savage 99 or 1899 seems to be of endless interest to collectors, and I've bought and sold so many I lost track. Sometimes I had a few, sometimes I had none. Anyway, quite a few people wrote me and asked me to talk about featherweight model. I didn't have any. Finally, I got one in the studio, so I thought I'll just make a quick video and talk about Savage 99s. And I had the good fortune of running into a fellow, his name's Jim, and he's actually in Saskatchewan, and he's a well of information. I learned more talking to him about Savage Model 99s than I think I've ever learned from anybody or read. And I don't know how many Savage 99s he has, but it's an awful lot. But getting back to the questions you had, and bear in mind that we have viewers from around the world, and a lot of them are younger viewers, and they've never seen these rifles. So this is one of the most desirable Savage Model 99s. It's the Model F. I'll flip it around here, and it's quite light, and we'll open the action. You can see the muzzle is milled down. The barrel is a lightweight. They call that the pencil barrel, if I remember Jim correctly, and it gives the rifle quite a dynamic feel in the hand. And other things I learned, if you're starting to collect these, you probably know all this, but I repeat it anyway. It says Savage 99F on the left side of the receiver, and if it is so marked, then it was drilled and tapped at the factory, so this gun, this rifle, would not be diminished in value by the scope mount being present. I'm going to show you another rifle in a moment that does not have a marking here, and if there's nothing here, that means that it was not drilled and tapped by the factory. So little things for collectors. This has the golden trigger, some kind of gold chrome, I presume. Still a color case hardened lever, and the cartridge counter on this one is aluminum, and I believe on the one I'll show you in a moment it's brass. And I learned this from Jim as well. If you want to know the authenticity of your rifle, you simply remove the screws from the buttstock. I loosened them, of course, and there you'll see the serial number stamped into the wood, and it's also on the butt plate itself, which will be harder to show you, but maybe I can do that as well. And the butt plate on these, I think, is both steel. Yeah, there's the serial number. You won't be able to make that out. I think somebody's been in here. You can see some drilling, and you probably didn't see the serial number, but it's down here. I should have put some white out on it. Anyway, the point isn't this particular rifle. It's the idea that you can track all these things as a collector. So really, it sounds like a pointless video, but for collectors it means something. That's the 99F, and the caliber is .243, and it has the pressed in check ring, and the rest of the rifle is self-evident. The safety is on the tank. So I'll just set that aside. And again, I have a strong feeling you know more than I do out there. This is the Takedown Model. Lots of questions about this one that came into my channel as well. Very simple to understand. I'll show you the cartridge counter is brass on this one, and the safety is on the lever right here, as opposed to the tang where there is nothing. The check ring is hand check ring, which looks a little better than on the Model F. And as I just mentioned to you, on the receiver ring, there is no inscription of any kind, and that means that this rifle, when it was made, didn't have any drilling and tapping for the scope bases, which means somebody had that done after they bought it. And I did the same thing, but I can't see the point. I loosened the screws so you can remove the steel butt plate on this one. and you would see the serial number also. And on this particular rifle, they used a higher grade of walnut. You can see that it's to me it's quite nice. And the lever is also color case hardened, but it wears away with time. And then the most important thing people were asking about is the takedown. So you simply push this button down and the forend comes off. You have to make sure you open the action. I've got the safety on. And then turn the barrel. And it's an interrupted thread. We'll set that down and you can see the interrupted thread design. And this rifle has that very nice rear sight with adjustments for windage on it. And on this barrel, we probably can't focus close enough, but you'll see it says 250 3000s on it. So for those of you that had those questions, I hope you find the video in the first place and those are the answers. Which one's more collectible? Well, if this one was not drilled and tapped, the takedowns are always worth more. It's got all the features. It even has a checkered trigger, which Jim told me about. Actually, the checkering feels good. And the type of bluing is a little different. I forget it has this special name. But as you know, I tend to paint with a broad brush, so it was nice talking to someone who really knew the details of the 99. And then I thought, since I'm talking about the 99, this one, I believe I've shown it to you before. So this wouldn't have any collector value, but for someone who wanted to hunt with a 99, it's in 243. The stock is new, and not much more to say about it. It has the Tang safety, and it's got the removable magazine, which is a nice feature actually. It works well, and it's a steel magazine, unlike a lot of rifles these days. So that's sort of one part of the video, and then the next part of the video, which is kind of also a loose end, is this Lee Navy. This one is scarce. It's in Remington Lee, and it's in 6mm Lee Navy, which is a really scarce caliber, especially in the Remington Lee. But anyway, I guess in a prior video I showed you how to take the bolt out, and there were still some questions about it, and it is a little bit finicky. So you open the action, and then there's a small depression on the bolt on the top, and that allows you to rotate that piece, and then you can lift this piece out, and then you'll see the bolt, if we can focus there, comes apart. This moves forward, and then you pull the trigger and the bolt comes out. And that's all there is to it. And to put it back together again, you push the bolt in. You have to hold the bolt head in place. They feed together, and replace the pin. So I hope I did a better job this time. It's that simple. And actually you don't even need to pull the trigger, my mistake. And then reassembly. You do have to hold this here because that extractor tips out. And you can take that whole piece out if you want. I would rather not do it on film, just because to balance this and line it up, I don't have proper equipment. But it can all be done very simply. And yeah, so I hope that makes sense. And this, by the way, is a great rifle to own. And every component on it is so carefully made, it's hard to believe. I'll flip it around just so you can have a better look at it. And yeah, I mean, that's a great action. So that's the other side of it, and you can recognize the profile of the Lee Enfield, which doesn't have the bolt head. It doesn't lock the same way as the Remington Lee. They actually went with a solid rib here and locked right there and got rid of the front locking lug. But anyway, these things are part of the interesting history of firearms and rifles especially. So hopefully that answers that question. That's about it. It's not a fantastic video, but I thought I should cover off those items. And thanks for watching. Please subscribe and join us on Patreon and Instagram. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.